Every morning, as I open my century-old eyes to another day of life, I lie in my bed and allow my body to catch up with my mind. Once I'm fully awake, I swivel my head on my pillow to check the time, hoping that it is past 6 a.m., but knowing that it's likely to be nearer 4 a.m., much to my dismay. I've never been a good sleeper, and a decent night's rest has become something of a luxury. No matter what the hour, I remain there for a while and ask myself, how am I going to feel today? I wiggle my fingers and toes and wait for each muscle to respond. Some are stiff, others not so much. My right leg has been a nuisance since I fell at the age of 98, so I pray it will be a little less painful today. Lying very still, I can feel my heart pounding inside its bony chassis. It's a miracle to me that this old fuel pump has been ticking over since 1920. Thanks to its unfaltering perseverance, yet another day has dawned that I've never seen before. It's certainly one that I will never see again. This fact alone is enough to confirm to me that today will be a good day. Delighted by this thought, I swing my legs out of bed and pull myself to an upright position. Everything is done at a snail's pace, and I sit for a time to let my system warm up. I'm not as steady on my feet as I used to be, so I have to wait a bit before shifting into first gear. Bending forward with care, I place my slippers on my size 11 feet, and then sit back up to allow the delicate mechanisms to settle. A human body is much like an engine, and you have to treat it with a certain amount of respect, especially when it's such a vintage model. When I'm ready, I stand gingerly, and using my trusty walking frame, make my way into the bathroom. I am painfully aware that if I were to fall again, I could be reduced to a state of helplessness, as I was once before. At the very least, I'd have to call out and wait for help. I don't plan to fall, but nor do I want to be treated like a child. Taking things slowly, I wash, dress, and shave, before going downstairs to make myself a cup of tea, milky, weak, and sweet. My entire morning ritual takes me roughly an hour, and has rarely varied in all my years. There's no hurry. I'm not on a time trial, after all. And patience is something I've acquired a great deal of lately. Once I've sifted through my morning mail, I settle to the newspaper that I read cover to cover, paying special attention to the obituaries, the contents of which alone can rescue a day. Other people's lives are usually so much more interesting than my own. Making a mental note of their ages, I must admit, however, to allowing myself a small smile, if I manage to outlive them. At my age, anything is worth celebrating. Despite my physical limitations, I still read every morning, grateful to be alive. My grandchildren assure me that even with people living longer these days, it's still pretty rare to be as old as I am, which they calculate as 100.5. They started measuring my life in half years, as anything longer might be too optimistic. It might be quarterly soon. This makes me laugh because it reminds me of when they used to declare that they were 5.5 or 6.5 in order to appear a tiny bit older. There's small merit in my doing that now, but I enjoy the idea of coming full circle. No matter how many years or half years I've spent on this earth, the one thing I have learned is that it's important to start each day positively. By rising each morning and completing my few simple tasks with a small sense of pride, I introduce some structure and motivation to my day, whatever it may bring. My little routine might not suit everybody, but I could do a lot worse, and nobody can deny, whatever I'm doing, it seems to be working for me.